Oh yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the very first episode of Freshly Peeled. I am your host, Tubin Monkey, and I am so excited today to bring you the very first pilot episode of my brand new podcast. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Again, my name is Tubin Monkey. Welcome. Very happy to have you here. I am so excited to start this brand new podcast. This has been a idea, a project that I have been wanting to tackle for a while, and I am super excited to really dig into this new venture into content creation. To start things off, allow me to introduce myself. Again, my name is Tubin Monkey. For those of you who are just entering into this journey with me, I am a content creator from South Louisiana. I am a variety streamer on Twitch, and I also dabble in a lot of other, media, aka YouTube and TikToks, because who doesn't love making fun little TikToks? Anyways, welcome again. It is very awesome to have you here and tune in. We are starting a brand new venture, and this starts the first episode of that journey. It's going to be one of many. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of many, and I'm very excited. I have done podcasts before with people, and it has been something that has always kind of been on my mind. So I wanted to start off my own little journey, and we're going to just go from there. A little bit of a story, a little backstory for me. I started my little content creation journey back on YouTube over about 6 years ago. I started making videos on YouTube, mostly focused around one of my favorite franchises, Battlefield. And I got a little thing called the Elgato, little Elgato HD capture card, and that basically was the stepping stone for all the way till today. So there's a lot of journeys that have happened, a lot of adventures, a lot of stories that have happened in between those moments. But yeah, it all started with that, and I had this idea of, I love games, I love gaming, and I have been gaming for over 30 years. So I was like, let's share in those experiences, and decided to upload my first video a little over 6 years ago. And little did I know that it was going to turn into something like this. It has been a learning experience. It has been, ups and downs as far as creating content. The spaces have changed. My journeys have changed paths. Now I am fully dedicated to streaming on Twitch. It's been really cool. I've met a lot of amazing people. I've met a lot of amazing streamers and friends, and would say family along the way. And a couple of years ago, I actually attended TwitchCon, which is a story for another day. Like I said, I got many of those. But yeah, I'm from South Louisiana. I have lived down here for quite a while, since about 1998. So it's been quite a while. And I've always loved gaming. It's been a huge core of my hobbies over the years, and it's kind of been a pillar per se, and I didn't know that the love of gaming has transpired into meeting amazing people, attending events like TwitchCon, traveling all the way to California. That was pretty intense. And now I have built this community that has been just amazingly supportive for every little venture that we go into, and now we are starting our new one. Again, I started off on YouTube. I learned a lot from there, and then I decided, along that journey, I was very intrigued by the idea of creating a community. So I decided, that journey needs to go into the next stage, and that was looking into streaming. And I figured with my personality and my knowledge that it would be, a great place to facilitate some of those future ideas, those future plans. And building a community was one of the huge ideas that I had going forward. So I've met a lot of people, I've met a lot of people on YouTube. I actually was part of a Facebook Gamers of YouTube group, and there were some amazing individuals in there. And I had the pleasure of working with them on a couple of projects, and that kind of sparked the idea per se of building something beyond just edited content. Now, don't get me wrong, I've learned a lot with doing that. I learned the level of the level of work that goes into creating and editing a video. There are a lot of things that go into that, some that people don't quite grasp until they've done it themselves. And when you put in weeks and weeks and weeks of work into an edited video, it feels satisfying, but it also feels quite disconnected, because for me, it's all about interaction. It's all about the in the moments, the live reaction. You can't really put your full personality into the experience because it feels so edited. It feels like you're almost putting up a wall between you and your audience. That's why I was very interested in streaming. And back then it kind of just was a one-off, interest, but now it's turned into something that is just a beast in itself. And now I have I've been streaming for a little over 3 years on Twitch. Not to say that I haven't streamed on other platforms before. I tried out a myriad of other ones. I've done, the YouTube gaming whenever that was still a separate entity. I tried doing Mixer as well, and kind of always settled back on Twitch. I actually started off streaming on Twitch with no success. It was literally zero success. Nobody was even remotely interested. But I think at that time I hadn't really quite established myself as a content creator, because in these spaces it really helps to build an audience beyond the platform, and that kind of, we're going to dive into that a little bit later. Building outside of the streaming platform is very important nowadays, and I think it's more relevant than a lot of people initially think. Going into streaming or being a content creator, you really have to reach beyond your main platform. And I've learned that. I've learned a lot of things along the way, and hopefully I can share in some of those experiences. Again, this podcast is not going to be focused solely around streaming. Again, I have a lot of plans with bringing on special guests, just across the board. We're not just going to focus on gaming here. It is a huge pillar of my interest and my hobbies, and I love gaming so much. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very excited for the future of console gaming and PC gaming and the next age, because I have witnessed so many changes across, generations of consoles, and the industry itself has been this growing entity. It's got a personality of its own. There are ups and downs, there are positive and negatives, and there's a lot of turmoil within certain areas, which is unfortunate because we love gaming. Like, we're very passionate about it, and sometimes that passion kind of blinds us in certain ways. But I like to keep a very open mind about it, and I love to share in those experiences. That's why I do what I do. It's part of who I am. It's part of this want to share with other people and hopefully inspire them along the way. That's kind of one huge thing that I strive to do whenever it comes to being a streamer, is to inspire. It's not so much about trying to raise myself to a higher level of recognition. It's to inspire as many individuals along the way to see the potential in themselves, to really take what is theirs and just blow the doors down. I feel like a lot of content creators nowadays, whether it be on, YouTube, or even content creators on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, which is just is just so unique, is that people feel they don't realize that they can really tap into themselves and really push that to the limit, because those are the things that people want to experience. Is you. They want to experience who you are, and you can share in those experiences across so many platforms. So getting to the reason of starting this podcast, it's an extension, of who I am as a content creator. And I think that it's going to be a really interesting experience going forward, sharing this journey with other people, and also getting other people involved to share their stories and their journeys, because there are so many different types of streamers and content creators, and they are so unique. And I love to see people grow. I love to see them add layers to their experience and really shine. Because once people really get to explore who they are as an individual on social media or streaming or making videos, it's so interesting because it's just you can see the light, going off, or you can see just this glow about them. They're very excited. We're going to be having some special guests on. This has been an idea with the podcast to kind of make it a solo experience, but also have people on because it's a little bit easier for the format and releasing the podcast. I'm going to be trying to release the podcast almost every Friday, so you should get a podcast every week. That's kind of the main goal. Keep it simple, to the point. Nothing too crazy, because it's a lot easier to control that way. But yeah, we're gonna have some guest stars on. I got a couple of people I need to reach out to, and if you're listening to this podcast and you're interested, be able to hit your boy up on Twitter, slide in them DMs, because I'm definitely eager to have people on, regardless of what you do. Streamers, like I said, YouTubers, whatever. If you just make TikTok videos and you want to talk about your experiences, I'm eager to have people on. I have a lot of amazing people that I have met through all of these platforms, and don't worry, I'm gonna be hitting you up out there. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, why did I start streaming? And I kind of touched on this earlier. And to elaborate on it a little bit more, I wanted to build a community. Community has always been a huge thing for me. And again, the Facebook group that I was in, the Gamers of YouTube, a shout out. I learned a lot in that group, and I wanted to create a central point for that. And it took some time. It really did. It's hard to establish a community from nothing. There's some individuals that start off that already have an established audience on other things like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. They've already established themselves. And myself, it's been from ground zero. And for those of you out there that are very eager into streaming, I'm going to tell you right now, it is some work. It is an extensive amount of work. However, on the flip side, nowadays, it is very easy. It is very easy. It's very accessible to start a streaming journey per se. It's very easy to get started nowadays, and which is great because that opens the door for more people to get into the streaming space. I mean, you have multiple platforms that are out there. That feels like there's so many new ones popping up every day. You have stuff like Mixer, you have YouTube that still has this streaming service. They used to have YouTube Gaming, but they kind of merged that back into itself. You have Facebook Gaming that's starting to get some pretty good traction. Things like DLive. There's just so many out there, which is good because it gives people opportunities to create their own stories on a multitude of platforms rather than just a handful, and there are more coming up. So, you always got to keep your eyes on the horizon, the competition per se, and see what platforms suit you best. But I started off streaming again with that idea of community, and building that community has taken time. Like I said, I've been streaming for over 3 years, and that's not without, huge ups and downs. And truth be told, I didn't really find myself as a streamer until probably halfway through that journey. I learned that I needed to really embrace who I was as a streamer. I needed to embrace those quirks, those personalities, and really let myself shine. It's not easy. A lot of people start off streaming, they're very uncomfortable with the idea of talking to themselves. I mean, it's one of those things that a lot of people have to deal with, and they don't know how to tackle that. It's very uncomfortable, and I felt that way for quite some time until I started to really tap into the idea of, hey, this is your opportunity for people to see who you are. And you almost feel like you want to suppress that because you feel almost embarrassed. You feel nervous or like uncomfortable. It comes with the space. Believe me, even to this day, there are many moments, many moments where I feel very uncomfortable about my streams or the way I'm presenting myself. And after streams, I'm always like, oh, I was really awkward and wasn't quite feeling it. I mean, it happens. There are streamers that have been doing this for years, and the same thing happens to them. That they can sit there and stream in front of hundreds of people, and I guarantee you they still feel uncomfortable because it is kind of weird. You with just a camera, and the only thing you have to go off is chat. I mean, chats are awesome. Shout out to everybody that comes by the streams. Even everybody, the lurkers, the real MVPs. But it comes with time. It really does. And the best practice, to be honest, I'm gonna give you a little bit of some streaming tips here. The best practice is to just talk to yourself. I mean, talk about your experiences, talk about who you are, talk about your adventures in life, your past events. I feel like sharing those events, those stories, because I share a ton of stories on stream, helps me to feel more comfortable. I find that taking something that is super relatable for myself and sharing that, it's easier to talk about because it's from experience. And sharing those also helps you create a much more personal connection with your audience, your community, your viewers. You're sharing in a part of you that is familiar, so it's easy to talk about. And you're also helping create a much stronger relationship with your community because, they get to know you. They're here for you. And I've stressed that a lot to many other fellow streamers, those that have gotten into streaming, those that are, have been on the journey for a little while. You need to share yourself, because those are the things that people are going to, they're going to gravitate more towards you as a person rather than just you as playing a game. I'm sure many people have heard this, and I'm not trying to be some kind of stream coach or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you right now, people want to come back for you. The games, those things are just background noise. It's if you can make a personal connection, if you do your best to make a personal connection, many people are going to feel much more comfortable. They're gonna feel a little bit more comfortable. They're gonna be really eager to get to know you. And that's the thing. People love to meet. It's the interaction. It's the human interaction that is the pillar of all relationships, whether it be friends, family. It's communication. It's human interaction. And that's a humongous thing on Twitch. People love personalities. That's not to say that the argument is people just love to watch certain people because they love just the game they're playing. That is part of the grand plan. At the end of the day, personalities leave super lasting impressions, and people want to see you. So you, I'm gonna put this in air quotes, you need to be the star of the show. Tap into those quirks, those imperfections, because those are the things that people love to see, because it makes makes you be more relatable. And hopefully that's kind of a little bit of an insight, a little streaming insight there. But I've really tapped into that. I've really tried my best to let that shine, because I'm very outgoing. I'm a very outgoing person, and I know it's a lot harder for people that aren't as outgoing as other individuals, but it does come with time. I myself, like I said, it's taken me some time to get comfortable with who I am. I will say that once I attended TwitchCon, that it really did open my eyes to the scope, the grand scope of streaming. I never really quite had a grasp on it until I attended it. It was like 2 years. It was 2 years ago, yes. And oh my God, that was such an amazing adventure. We had a blast. Me and the missus, we went out there, and I never started this with the idea of thinking, man, I'm going to fly out to California and attend a convention. It was actually the first convention I ever went to. and oh my god, it was just insane. It's so surreal when you think back on it, you know. And I'm sure there are individuals like, man, I've been to a bunch of conventions, you know, and believe me, I have plans to attend another one. I'm also looking into PAX South because it's really close to where we are. But it's, man, it's such an amazing story to add on the journey. And I got to meet some fellow friends that I've met through streaming. Shout out. Oh, I got Hair, I got Queso, Smartasky, Jimbo, Kilroy, Hurricane Tron, Mako, my boy. Love you, face. So many amazing people that I got to meet out there. It was fantastic. And I'm so excited for the future, you know. I'm so excited for the future. And I can't wait to go again. I cannot wait to go again. It was such an amazing journey. But it was just one of those chapters in the journey, and I look forward to hopefully attending another one. I know right now a lot of us are dealing with the current situation that's going on, and I'm not gonna dive too much into that. We're all in the same boat, you know. We're all in the same boat. And much love to all the people that are working on the front lines. You are all the real MVPs. It is just insane, you know, how much love and passion that some people put into their work to benefit, to help others, you know, for them to live better lives. And I send you a lot of love, you know, from our community to everyone out there. You are the real MVM. It's just insane. It's just insane. Hopefully we can get out of this whole situation and things will get back to normal. I know it's going to take time, so we're all in this together. And I do hope for a much more normal lifestyle. I'm sure we are all ready to get back to our normal ways as sooner rather than later. Yeah, we're gonna be going forward. We're gonna be reaching out and we're gonna be expanding, and I'm so excited. This experience is gonna be really, really fun, and I'm eager to have some special guests on. Like I said, I got a couple people I'm gonna reach out to, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited for it. I'm learning it as I go. I'm gonna be honest. I'm learning it as I go. So bear with the roughness of the stream. But I'm excited. I'm very excited. Just to dive into a little bit of the recent news. We're gonna do a couple hot takes. You know, we're freshly peeled. We're peeling back the layers, and we're gonna be tackling some of the recent events. Like I said, there's a lot of things that have been going on in the gaming industry. There's not a lot going on within the movie industry, unfortunately, because a lot of theaters and stuff like that are shut down. Although, it's really interesting how a lot of these services and movie studios and things are going like straight to streaming, which is very interesting. I don't know how y'all feel about that with the current movie theater experience situation kind of shut down. Do you feel that streaming movies or new releases coming straight to streaming, do you feel that has a much bigger place in these services? Because I'm very interested to see what y'all think about that. Because me personally, I do love the movie theater experience, but it's not quite the level of what it used to be. You know, nowadays it seems like most people, I say most, and it's kind of a majority, hot take, that a majority of people tend to want to go only to the theaters whenever there's these huge releases. And there are great films that come out and they kind of get overlooked, you know, and they may actually benefit better by going straight to a streaming service like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime. There's a lot of opportunity there, and I think with the current events that these streaming services might have to rethink how they do some of these deals with companies, you know, or movie studios, to try and maybe say, hey, look, we have a huge potential for revenue. There's much bigger audience, especially nowadays with everything being, you know, streaming and digital, and it's available now. Maybe they should look into possibly pushing that even more. I mean, I know there have been some instances where, you know, you can get the movie theater releases earlier on certain platforms, but You know, would you think about this, would you as a consumer be much more willing to pay for a service to have a movie come out the day it releases in the movie theaters? Think about it. You know, there's a lot of potential there. And with the current situation, I think a lot of companies may actually reevaluate how they go forward with this, you know. It is unfortunate because I know a lot of people are really into the movie theater, you know, experience, you know, the smells of the popcorn and the big comfy chairs. Well, I wish we had big comfy chairs in our movie theater because they're not quite comfortable, especially when you're watching a 2.5 hour long movie and my butt cheeks fall asleep. Not fun. But the big screen and the sound, you know, it's something that only certain movies do like really take full advantage of. But people love to be comfortable. They love the convenience. They love the now. They want it now, you know. That kind of is going to segue into another little segment real quick. But I'm really curious to know your opinions on that. I mean, movie theaters are kind of starting to almost fade away, which kind of sucks because the silver screen experience is something that is almost a bit of a novelty in our day and age, you know. And I'm curious about the future. I'm really curious. Sometimes I feel like movie theaters in certain areas are really just relying on big blockbusters to still stay relevant, while there are other great films that come out and they kind of get overlooked, and maybe these movie studios could benefit even more from just going straight to streaming. Would that diminish the experience? Would that diminish the movie in itself, just releasing it digitally or streaming it? I don't know. You let me know. So, to segue into the next topic with the demand for now, there was a recent event that happened via Xbox. They did a live stream event. It was basically their Xbox Direct in a way, you know, their take on releasing world premieres for games. And there was a lot of negativity. There was a lot of buzz, and it was spicy. It was very spicy. There was an event where Xbox and Microsoft showed off what they here a lot of people are going to be mad about this. They quote unquote gameplay trailers for the newest games that are going to be coming to the brand new Xbox Series X. You know, they kind of built this up. They kind of toted around that they were going to show off this next gen gameplay. And look, to me, I was impressed with the presentation. I thought it was very interesting, you know, because of all the events that are going on in the current situation. So it was an interesting way of them delivering the future titles, you know, to the consumer. But at the same time, it also kind of they kind of fell on their faces with it in terms of the general reception of the event. And a little bit of a hot take on that is that I feel that a lot of people we're kind of at fault as consumers for the way that these things are received, because nowadays we have high expectations. We have almost unreal expectations in terms of what we want and when we want it. And if these developers and these publishers do not meet those demands, it's like torches and pitchforks. I swear, it's like almost civility just goes out the door, and it's kind of ridiculous. You know, like I said, I've been a gamer for over 30 years. I have seen many changes in the industry. One of the things that hasn't changed quite well, or hasn't aged quite well, is the consumer reception or viewpoint, because now there's such a crazy high demand for perfection and time. Like, we want it right, and we want it right now. Everyone out there that is a gamer, anybody that is a gamer, y'all need to chill out. Y'all, seriously, I'm gonna be a little bit real. We need to pump the brakes a little bit, okay? It's one thing where we have really high expectations. You know, I understand people want quality. You know, they always say the whole quality over quantity. And I work in a quality department in my full-time job, so I know this all too well. But when it comes to quality, we have to understand that quality comes with time. You know, you're not going to get that right away. And the reception of games is so obscured to the point to where it's absurd because people want perfection and they want it now. To me, do you feel that we would be better off without all of this coverage that's out there from journalists to insiders to partners to people that want to get the latest and greatest information out there? Because in a sense, we're creating this demand for information, and with that comes the pressure on these developers, these publishers. And I would almost hate to be on that side of it. I used to want to pursue a career into the gaming industry. I was very intrigued by it back when I had the opportunity, but unfortunately things didn't pan out that way. But now looking at it, I almost am kind of in a way glad that I'm not on that side of things because of the insane demand of perfection from the consumer side of things. Look, we're guilty of it. I'm gonna say it straight up. We're guilty of this insane level of expectations, and all of this exposure that these games get. It has almost ruined the novelty of it. You know, the surprise, the awe factor, the wow and the anticipation, because we know so much information about a game years before it even comes out. And that also plays hand in hand with, you know, the hype around a game or the expectations. And then there's this, the consumers or us, we build this laundry list of all the things that need to be met when the game releases. And when it doesn't release that way, guess what? We want to throw them against the wall. We want to yell and we want to scream and we want to post it on Twitter and hashtag, we're not going to buy this game and we're going to boycott this game. And it's just, we've kind of separated ourselves in a way to where we feel entitled. Like the level of entitlement when it comes to games, when it comes to franchises. You know, I understand wholeheartedly that we want a nice polished experience. I mean, that's understandable, but we have to understand that comes with time. And the level of exposure that these games get, the demand from the consumer for, oh, where's the game at in development, and what's the features that are going to be added in, and what have they changed from this game to this game. I understand that there's a want for information, but that sometimes that want for information feels like it kind of puts these developers and these publishers in a corner. And what would happen if somebody did that to you? You know, how would that make you feel? You got to understand that these people that work on games they're people too. You know, they have family, they have friends. You know, that's their job. And my heart goes out to a lot of these developers and these publishers. You know, they really do put their passions out there, and I would hate it so much to sit there and be on the receiving end of somebody spitting on your passion. Like, imagine that, like, you're sitting there working on something that you are so passionate about, and you have put your heart and soul, you know, your time and your energy and your blood and your sweat and your tears into something for people to just spit in your face because it's not up to their expectations. You know, gaming is art. Gaming is an expression of oneself. It's an expression of ideas and concepts, and it all is rolled together in this amazing experience that we get to be a part of. Like, when you're playing a game, you are a part of the experience. You know, it's not like a movie. It's not like a painting or music. I mean, you get to experience it, but gaming as a whole is a whole different thing because you get to be a part of the experience. You are there. You are in it. There's not other mediums that are like that, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think that some developers and publishers, they don't get enough love, you know, because they put their time and their heart and their soul into it. And when it doesn't quite mirror the ideas and theories and thoughts and perceptions of the masses, they get ridiculed, you know? You're trying to tell them how their art should look, but we're supposed to perceive it the way that it was meant to be perceived. You know, we should look at it through the artist's eyes. We really need to take a step back, honestly. And I kind of wish that there was less exposure. I wish there was less news and less, you know, I wish there was less updates on games and things that are coming out and projects that are working on, because to be fair, those things kind of ruin it. You know, it's kind of like opening a present on Christmas Day. Do you really want to know what's inside of it before you open it? Or do you want to be hella surprised? To bring things back full circle, so the Xbox event came out and they showed off some interesting games. Particularly interested in 2 titles. They're going to be coming out. Well, they're not going to be exclusives, but I'm very interested in The Medium, which is made by Bloober Team. They're the ones responsible for Layers of Fear. Some of you may or may not know about them, but they're a fantastic studio. They've worked on some really great games. Recently, they did the Blair Witch, and now they're working on a brand new project with the composer for the Silent Hill games. I don't quite remember the name. I'm not great with names, I'll be honest, but I do need to do more research. So it's going to be really interesting to see that pan out. And another title I'm super interested in that has been in development for quite some time, Scorn. Scorn is going to be coming to Xbox, so that's really interesting. I'm eager to see the update videos from Sony and Microsoft as well. I know we still are getting Nintendo Direct news here and there. I need to do a little bit more research on some of those things. I wasn't super prepared with a list of information. I'm not trying to be a gaming news or update site. I mean, you guys can get all that information everywhere else, you know. I like just to take my takes on it, my insight, my personal tastes. Not to say that I'm not eager to see what happens with every console that comes out, because even though I don't have everything, I'm very excited for the future. I'm looking at all those that have PlayStation 4s that get to play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm very jealous. Just a quick little thing. I am a humongous Dark Souls fan, so, and I know Ghost of Tsushima isn't Dark Souls, but recently I played Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, and I love the aesthetic, you know, the Japanese aesthetic of that game with the shinobi and the samurai, and it was an amazing experience. But nonetheless, another game that is set within that time period or that setting, place, and origin, I'm super excited for. So I'm really jealous. And also Neo 2. I'm very, very eager to get my hands on that, but I gotta wait a little bit longer. Yeah, there's going to be some more follow-up events. I know with the current situation, there are a lot of companies that are having to adjust their presentations. And Sony had a pretty good event. They were really diving into the specs of their console. And I'm eager to see what kind of follow-up event they have in lieu of Microsoft's. This kind of is hypocritical of what I said earlier, but I'm not demanding information. They could not release anything and I'd be fine. I'm eager for the future of games, but I don't need all the information now. You know, I like to be surprised. I want to be surprised. Maybe I don't want to know what all the information is for Halo Infinite. Part of me wants it, but I don't demand it. And I approach every game and every console with an open mindset. I'm eager for the future, but I can let them do their own thing. I know a lot of people are eager for Cyberpunk 2077, and you know what? Whenever that game first released and they said it'll release or more information when it's ready, and I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, you do you, CD Projekt Red, you do you, because you have my interest and you have my curiosity. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely, that's big on my horizon. But at the same time, I'm not looking at any information on it. I love to go blind into it, and I want to experience it like it's Christmas presents unwrapped, ready to play. So I think we're going to wrap it up there for our first episode of Freshly Peeled. Thank you, everyone that has tuned in, listening, watching. We're going to be bringing the podcast to as many platforms as possible. For Spotify, it's going to be on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and I will have links to all of those in the YouTube video below. And if you want, you're eager to follow me on Twitter at TubinMonkey. Also, I stream regularly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturdays on Twitch, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You're more than welcome to come tune in at twitch.tv/TubinMonkey. Like I said, I stream a variety of games. I'm a variety streamer, and I will eagerly await you in chat. Welcome you officially to the Monkey Brigade, our community, and hopefully see you in the next Freshly Peeled. Again, my name is TubinMonkey. Thank you for listening to our first ever pilot podcast. Hopefully you have an amazing day, week, and I will see y'all in the next one.